Sending data. Streaming. Twitch is not on yet. Twitch is on. Okay. And boom. Up. Alrighty. Now then. Make sure I'm on camera. I'm on camera. Hey everybody. I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Now, this being, well, first session on a South Australian Wednesday morning, it is Lancaster time. Now, we've been doing a fair bit of work on our base coats. Got most of them down, actually. That's on the big stuff anyway. And a bit of the small stuff. I'll show you some of what I've done. Now we can put some of the base coat colours on the small stuff. Some of that needs to be done, peeps. Yes, it does. Now, first things first. Camera, actually no, light. I'm getting this a bit wrong lately. I like to hit the light first, because that way when I move it around, it's not quite so bad for you guys. We get a bit of a flash. Reminds me of the rather old joke. There's these three nuns. There now. First let there be light. Walking through a park. Flasher runs out and exposes himself to them. Two had a stroke. The other one wasn't quick enough. Now, looking at these, I would suggest it would be wise to have a bit of look at the stars. There are two slight differences there. Make sure you get the right one. What the fuck that is for, I do not. Unless it is a unless it's for an option you can put on a blank, or alternatively, if it's actually from, it looks more like something you put on a Wellington, or Halifax rather, or maybe a Wellington. It could be that easy, guys. However, all right, hey Alien, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing some work on the link, I am. Now, these are the canopy pieces, and I'm having a bit of a susslies. I might have a closer look at the assembly instructions. I'll get onto these. These aren't the first thing I will do in this stream, but I do want to get onto the canopies of the link. Actually, I've done a bit of work since. Ooh. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, dude. Yeah, look, it's yeah, it's just one of those things of life. I've been kinda lucky in that every time somebody in my family has passed away, it's been either somebody who I didn't really know or kind of expected. But yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, mate. Anyway, I'll try and cheer you up somewhat by showing you what I've done on the lake, shall I? Now, these are our base colours that we got on the fuselage, obviously enough. I was wondering what word to use. The word is fuselage. And I don't know if it comes through so well for you. But one thing I did do is, I mean, obviously you can see it, here's the interior green. There's two different blacks I've actually used there. Oh, there is a reason too. I'll zoom in. If you Yeah, there we actually that's shot. Oh my god, you can see it. Boom. That's yeah, if I stop dropping the bloody thing. Okay. You can see one's a flat black, one's a semi-gloss. The aim of the game there, well, pretty obviously is to indicate that I've got two different areas and indeed two different surfaces. I'm going to use this black for a lot of the mechanical sort of stuff like the interior of door bays, gun bays, stuff like that. Oh well, that's nice to know, mate. Yeah, well, look, sometimes, mate, in the cold hard light of day, someone's been unwell, particularly depending what they have been unwell with. Well, I know that a friend of mine's uncle, who she really liked, died a couple of years ago, and the guy had cancer, and it was terminal. Now, sometimes these outcomes are in their own cruel way, kind of. Sometimes. That was certainly the case with my grandmother. She was one of the things that caused her. She had a bit of dementia, but the thing was caused by her smoking so many cigarettes it prevented blood flow to her brain. She was actually aware of it, and in the final analysis, it was a kind of thing for her to have passed. Yeah, you won't see it for a while, but anyway, let us get to more cheerful subjects. So yeah, here's my two different blacks. And the thing is, of course, it's all very easy to airbrush on something that size. On some of these smaller pieces, where I'm going to want to use dark black, it'll be easier to hand brush, and that I shall now do. Examples, and indeed some areas chassis black. These are the gun turrets, and there's also like seats. I'm gonna say of the this is apparently what actually haven't moved you out, but that's okay. You can see what I'm talking about anyway. Right here, right here. Now we'll zoom out a bit. That's what they've got is the place this guy sits on. Got something roughly that size to sit on for the duration of his mission. The guy must have buttocks of steel. As for this poor sucker, god damn kilogram. Actually, I think that's the dude at the front. It's not so bad. But you still don't need them apples to sit on. That's nothing. I mean, that's a bar up someone's ass. Ooh, sounds a bit saucy. My housemate is up. Now, getting back to the point of our little exercise here. Okay, we can see. I'll stop waffling and start doing so, mate. I'll just pop these up here so they're kind of out the way. Now, give me a moment. Now, getting back to these. As you can see, should I zoom in? I shall zoom in. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, as we can see here, where our gun rests are. Now, whilst I'll do the guns with a bit of detail. There's a bit of work to do on them. Likewise here. So I'm not going to do that same colour as I do these inner areas here or around there. And indeed these little spots here I'll do a different colour again. Now the actually another bit that goes with this that's a wee bit jiggy. Track that down as well. There are a few little bits like that that we can get stuck into in this stream, and we will too. Now, mount, and we will get. I'll give you a slightly downward look on this one. Sorry, maybe a little high would be good for you. As you can see what the hell I'm rummaging through. Now, looking for. As a quick little aside, I'm actually going to rebrush or airbrush these with the same colour there and take that all the way through to there. First I thought it was just going to be there that was relevant, but for various reasons I want to do well. Likewise there, because there is like a little area vent. So yeah, just me being a wee bit anal. Here are some I might also airbrushing on, but we'll come to that discussion later. Here's our guns as an aside. They don't require too much detailing. This is some of the stuff for the Brigaders or maybe Bombardiers position, one of the two. We don't know, that's the one I'm looking for. Aha. Okay. They're only being one of. What I'm actually looking for. Aha, here it is, what I'm looking for. These are very obviously. Yeah, now that I found what I'm looking for, I'll have a quick squizzly. Anything else I want to get out? Because I may as well, hey. Actually, here's something, because this requires a bit of chassis black base coating. That as well. What about this? That. Alrighty. These are. Yes. Alright. Now. Keep this out because I can see what, in words of like great willy shape. What the fuck's that, Jimmy? Not sure if that's. I have a couple of. So I'll keep them aside. There's something going on there that I may not quite have my noggin round. Then here's something I'll share with you. These bits go into the wheelbase, and they go so like imagine the wheels are down here. That's like the top. Now the colour they recommend is black, and against black, of course, it's not going to stick out too much. My take on that is no, fucking no. The colour I'm going to do on the top here for these ones, that one. I think that's going to really bring it up very nicely. Against the black, I'm going to do aluminium through here. And then I'll go more standard colours underneath for the wheelbase. Then if people go, let's have a look, they go, oh, ooh, look at the pretty colours. Now, this is detailing stuff, not base coats. Likewise, they only supply you with one air crewman. What I might even check right now. Ooh, use a bit more rust look on all of these. Anyway, slide them over there. But I might just quickly check. Now, I'm also building at the moment a Mark 9 bit. Now, the reason this comes or becomes relevant, I'll share this with you very quickly. Oh, fuck, well. No, I won't, apparently. That actually bothers me. Give me a moment. I don't know where the decals are then. You can't tell me that's a good thing. Hang on. Now, where would I put them? Somewhere very clever, I can assure you of that much. Hang on. Here we go, found them. Oh, I did indeed put them somewhere very clever. Yeah, first I'll get you a slightly better camera. Well, the reason this is relevant to our Lancaster is what often because that AZ didn't put a pilot in, but I have a pilot I can utilize. So, to that end, what I'm trying to see is do they have seatbelt decals? No. They do. It's a wee bit of a pisser. That being so, I will do what I saw done the other day is use a bit of tape. Alternatively, I can go the full aftermarket option, and I may well do, but depends on a few variables now. Alright, now this brings us to which colour do I want to work with first. It doesn't really make any, really doesn't. That was something I was going to do, wasn't it? I was going to see Pixar with this. Now what I might do, mate, the hell is that? Part number 35, and that's part number. Mind boggles, peeps. Now I'm going to go and have a thing with my housemate. I actually make his morning coffee, and there's a reason for this, man. If I don't make it for him, he'll, despite the fact we have a coffee machine, he'll make himself an instant coffee because it's easier. My take on this is not on my fucking shit. I will have none of that brown sadness water made in my abode. And as I did, thinks the coffee machine is too much of a faff, I'll make him one every morning just to make sure there's no like of abode, as I said. Can't happen. So, I'm going to be back very quickly, mate. Then I think our first option, like I said, I'm going to have a quick look at what to identify what these pieces are specifically and where they go, because they require the same colours. We might as well get them done. Then, they just go on the side. I see what the dealio. They go on the side of the engine. Anyway, I just want to see if what colour these need to be or not, and then we shall get going on that subject. The one thing I do know, we will be needing that. We will be needing. Is that the empty one? The empty one. The empty one there. They're the two blacks we're going to work with. Alright, I'll be back shortly, mate. Now then, I am back, as you can gather by my audio presence. Ba, 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 ba. Now then, what we're looking for, parts 35 and 36. Things a bloody booklet. Let's just have a quick sussly, shall we, mate? Just I'll make a small error there and fix. It's not going to matter. I painted the back of that black, but in actuality it should be 78, but then a decal goes on it the way. That's fine. What do we have here? What part is that? D21. These are 35 and 30. Part number. Boy. Part 35 and if I don't find it very soon, I'm just going to go be damned. Sort it out later. It would be convenient to do it now. Because I think it's going to come in anywhere. It would come into this sort of a section. Rubbing. Intriguing. There or the cockpit. Neither. Now bearing in mind, they might come from another kit. Once explained to me that often parts or sprues come with parts for other kits on them because it makes it more efficient for the manufacturer. Here's just the one thing I do need to have quick squizzlies. If it's going to be anywhere, I'm going to recheck because it's just the kind of do. Ah. Ah. Right one, no, okay. Rubbin. No, I would suggest these are from another kit. Okay, after all of that, we can pop these away. That's fine. Now, that being so, let's start with oh, that's not where he sits. That's where he sits. Pushing there for him. He does better than this guy. Our I almost made a showed my age by almost making a cultural reference, or actually it's not a cultural reference as such. But I think if you know the rhyme as I was taught it when I was a kid, yeah, it doesn't wash these days. Believe a famous Agatha Christie book. Um, had to change its title. Initially, it went to 10 Little Indians because that was deemed less offensive than its original title. I just want to get this off, I think. Okay. Might be. There we go. First one comes off, it'll all be good. Yeah, anyway, changed it to 10 Little Indians. Um, except, of course, the Indians took exception to that. Not sure if it was the North American Indians or the subcontinental, but either way, it was deemed also racial. Ironically, of course, when Agatha Christie came up with the original title, maybe better than I. Different era. But yeah, now that's why it is called. And then there were none. But there you go. But yes, I almost slipped into the rhyme as I know it. I was taught it as a child. Just as well I didn't do that on air. The more appropriate or almost more friendly one these days is catch a tiger by the toe. Although I am unsure as to which, excuse me, which one Zed uses in Pulp Fiction, if you know the scene I'm talking about. He utilizes said rhyme. That would be Max. Yeah, he utilizes said line whilst deciding whether he's going to be going for Marcellus or Butch first, basically. Now, what I might do, some of this is going to be real easy with the chassis black on account of that's going to require a bit of detail, a bit of work to get the free. But these discs, which are part of what I want to do, and also around these here, they might can do with quite a broad brush. I can probably do. I like to do around the edges of that, or pillar cones, just so I know that there's nothing showing, and the appropriate color in this is basically black. I can use quite a broad brush for that. Yeah. So we'll go broad for that, and those, and then we'll go really narrow for that and that. That's my plan. Alrighty. Now that I've explained what I'm doing, we'll get that done, shall we? My knee's very achy. Unhappy event, I tells you. I went into the physios for shockwave therapy on my thigh. Apparently, drank it to quite prodigious levels because my pain threat. Well, 2 days later, it's still sore as hell though. Now, these broad bits we will go for a brush. This would be the one for the job. In fact, I'll probably go bigger than those. But I'll use one brush because I also want to go So I could always know what, man? I am getting meaty, beaty, big and bouncy. This will cover us a lot of area real fast when she's done. As accuracy is not our concern, it'll be a winner. Winner, winner. These are very thin paints because they're normally used for airbrushing. Probably, again, doesn't matter so much on this. Excuse me. We needed that looking at a hole in the head. Yeah, so, yes, it does probably doesn't matter. So, in fact, this particular area right here that I'm painting is not going to be totally visible. Is more about for me ensuring that the there's no visible sprue from any angle. Me doing it this way is just me being completely anal. I don't mean that in a Julian Clary sort of way, obviously. Right. All right. Pretty sure you can see what I'm doing. Not rocket science this bit. When I go for the more detailed areas, I'll zoom in. This is a pretty, yeah, we'll need a second coat, I'd say. Being thin paints, what do you do? What you gonna do? That's not a paintbrush, that's my nose. Yeah. Alrighty. Now, so we've got a good shot of getting onto. I've had a few cracks at getting onto the lake canopies, only to be hornswoggled by getting other work. I've done. Got the pre-coat on the Spitfire canopy. I haven't done the Halifax one, although I did discover they have a conundrum. One of them, the Halifax I'm building, is An older pressing of Airfix is therefore not as nice as the and anyway, the point being that one of the outcomes of their, or some of their older pressings, and I certainly had this with the Junkers of theirs I built, still got to put a bloody aerial. I'll do that in a picture somewhere. Being like. Anyway, point being that what was the point being? That's it, early pressing. That the some of the bars that should be visible on the main canopies weren't actually printed. I'll tell you free of charge. That's what we bought me for. A pain in the ass. So yeah, at the end of the day, what I've had to do, or I've done with the Junkers, I'm doing with the Halifax to work out where those bars should be, put a guiding bit of tape on, then work out for myself. It came up okay on the Junkers doing it that way. Not ideal by any stretch, but what you gonna do? Cha cha cha. Deary me. Now, back a bit. I use an office chair when I'm at my computer desk. I can ask people get backs working in. Not really. They're not really meant to be sat in. As far as I can tell, because they make you recline into an angle that's not good for your back. I think it was during the type of seat, ergonomically good, set astride it and away you went. The fundamental issue is, yeah, it's great if you need. Speaking for myself, with who's started to get to the old Rayberry ain't where I used to be point. Yeah, good luck with that. Oh, that's not entirely true, but yeah, I'm alright. It would be. Now, this time we will go. This is just a thing again to make sure more that the blue colour doesn't appear. Not what you want. Well, these I believe will seal onto those plates there because they're both got that thing there going. You don't need to worry about potentialities. Chassis showing. Of chassis showing. Yeah. Sounds like a reality show thing. We have the chassis going. um, maybe it's one of those celebrity reveal things. I don't know. there. There we go. You can pretty much see what I'm doing just by pretty much see what I'm doing there. Oh, maybe. I just came up with a cunning plan. Isn't it? I have a plan. Then, right, we'll just let them dry off. Now, getting into the realms of true pedantry. Guilty as charged 9 times out of 10. And the sides of these to be Bessie Black. Now, I could probably do that all in this one session because they don't interfere with each other, and if I were to put them like that, that's the theory. I'll be able to still do my cart back around it. They're not on the same side. So, to that end, may as well get that achieved. Let's see. Oh no, that's all that is. Let's see what I'm doing, can you, mate? Working on how got a position. What's the point? All I gotta say is place I would want to be on the prime list of places the German fighters would be targeted. I told you that I saw a German fighter pilot, a guy who had been a German pilot, and recounted. Minpins, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, and he recounted the tale of flying right into position behind this tail gunner. By the way, you got to give the man points for balls there. We reckon he was close enough you could actually see tail gunner, and his own words, he was every bit as terrified as I was. Guessing that situation, either he pulled out or the tail gunner didn't do well. Yeah. Yeah, good mate. Went up to my mum's. Oh, good little boy thing. What else did I do? I actually got quite a lot of airbrushing done yesterday. I'll actually show you. I did one colour across 4 kits. And that enabled me to get all my wheels done. So I was a bit chipper about that. But at the moment I'm doing putting chassis black on stuff that actually those I could have been brushed, but that where I think I'm better served applying the chassis black by brush rather than airbrush, purely by virtue of the existence of other colours on the same piece. In this area is not so an issue. I want to do a whole stack of different ones there. Yada yada. The situation. Yeah. Put this on very quickly. There they are. That. Now before I continue, chassis black. These are Lancaster wheel, Halifax, another Lanc, Halifax, Staghound, hang on. And Halifax, Spitfire. Yeah, that's Spitfire. I've got Now this has got liquid mask on it, so it doesn't, just because it looks crappy there, it doesn't, it'll all be fine, it'll all peel off. But yeah, so I got a whole stack of wheels done yesterday, or tyres rather. I was pretty happy about that. Now I've just got to put the well, other relevant bits and bobs on them. There are a couple of little touch-ups required on them, but mostly they're good. Now, we got that done, which I was pretty happy about, as I said. We're going to clean this brush. Then we're going to go and put Ash Sassy Black on some of the smaller pieces. So yeah. That was your day yesterday, Minpins. It's a nice enough brush though, I don't want to have to do the job, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I reckon we're all right there. By golly. Quick rinse. Right. And a mouthful of coffee time, I tell you. Oh, yeah. Ah, coffee, I tell you, that's a bit good. Nice sharp brush. Now I'm thinking, and I do sometimes, people. That if I don't get onto the lank canopies, this stream, I might well do them in the next one, as well as the Halifax one, colour on the Spit, and then I'm probably looking at some assembly on the Spitfire and Halifax today anyway. I would suggest What looks like black coffee. That my you're talking about the thinner that I put my brush through. No, that ain't black coffee, bud. I should probably put my goggles on for this little number. Whoops, a daisy. You stream the stream till I get it done. Dear oh dear. Let's have a good look at this. What's it? Can you see what I'm doing in this position? I'd say you're not too far off. Maybe, maybe. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do on these ones first. Shall follow me. Okay. I'm going to do the real. Oops. With oily steel and give it a dry brush. Give it a bronzy look. Yeah, metal steel. Yeah. Actually, no, I'll go gunmetal grey. Then I do the Timmy Tin dry brush, and that brings it up to, well, I get a bit of heat on. Yada. These are the things, peeps. Right. And those top bits I'll do different colour again, probably, I don't know, something metallic is the bottom line here, but something to make them stick out a bit. Yeah. Next. They are slightly different, which is interesting. They are ones that go to pretty much the same spot. So as to why, that is both. Whether it's a thing of, actually, I think it's just that the bracket's wider, and I would suggest that's because those ones go into the wheel bay and they need to be wider in the bracket to allow for that. That's my supposition. I'm Ken Brockman. That's my 2 cents worth. Alrighty, coming along. These are going to need to slap around with some. All coming together. Yay. 2. Stretch the back up. Now what I'll go around the edges of these once I've got the main bodies of them done. Just because that way I know. Just keep it. Back. Rough. And pretty happy with how these are coming up. Usually another part that where one can question the need to be this precise, as these won't be that visible. My take of which is, yeah, and that's what I do, man. What I do. I do. After I'd just finished Amber Outburst, my housemate was he was saying in response to something he was doing on his game, maybe there's something entirely appropriate about it. It's a piece of timing. His housemate's sick. Fucking must work with the Swedish girl. Don't know how much airplay ever gets in the UK. Australia, they still get quite a lot. Certainly Adelaide, they don't know about it. Actually, I'd say probably interstate because they appear in a few movies. At least the songs do. Anyway, point being that, yeah, she reckoned both her and indeed a number of Swedish people she knew were astounded they ever still got airplay. Apparently they don't in Sweden. So, yeah. It was kind of interesting. Where yeah. I remember having a chat to a Brazilian guy. Told me that in Brazil, Sepultura are not nearly as big as they are out over here. And he was saying that he was really surprised as to how popular they are out here. Now, it could be that he just doesn't move much of a metal crowd, but metal's always a bit of a subculture, I guess. Good point. But yeah, you'd have to think they have to have some cut through in their own country. Yeah. Yeah. And oh, right, right. Ding, ding, ding. Bow, bow. Yeah. There's this. I'll just go around the edges. Then, that done. Something I'm probably going to do with the main exterior coat is actually do the black. I'm not do any of the assembly. Alright. Because while the green and brown needs to flow together, the black I can do almost separately, and will make in the longer term task of um, doing the main paint job far easier. I may even get all of that done with a big stream. That way we can maybe even get onto some of the main assembly. Would not be so unhappy for here. Let's see, yeah. Fact, well, to do all of these ones from this angle. It's a better angle to do all of the exteriors, or sides rather. Yeah. Once I've got these done, very short break. Yeah. Lost track of which was the other one I did. Easy way to tell, isn't it? Finished. All right. Now we just go around the edge of these. So. Right. Do these surprises. Yeah, I'd say I'm almost certainly going to be doing a wee bit of blank work dream. Ah, there we go. And done. Ha! You know, that's not so far off the money, mate. Um, the reason that it's not so far off as an idea, now I'm going to clean this brush. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to do these. I'll use the same brush probably, but I just need to get up for a walk, loosen up a bit before I do that. Oh, hang on, it's 6 o'clock now. I'll be very quick. I'll do my usual brekkie thing at the appropriate juncture. But yeah, it goes like this. What I'm doing a fair bit of at the moment is the when I'm doing one colour on a kit, I'm going, well, be damned. I might as well isolate that one colour across all the kits, and I'm thus doing all of that. Now the result of that is that, hang on, I'll just zoom out a bit while I'm waffling. The result of that is that, or as a result, more to the point, I find that, well, or I expect what's going to happen, because I'm going to put when I put the black on the Hampton, I'm thinking to myself, well, is it so silly to put the black on the Lancaster? Because when all is said and done, putting the black on the Lank and then only giving a lighter airbrush on along the seam when it's completely assembled will probably be far easier. Now, if I do that, it's entirely possible that by the time the stream comes around, I'll actually have a lot of the paint done on the lake. I may even have the Halifax close to finish. I might get them all done within a week and a half of each other, and then yeah, I could possibly do a stream of presentation, as it were. It would not be so inconceivable. If there was, I know certainly I would suggest that having done the big stream on the lake, a lot of people would like to see it finished. You know, we'd be potentially interested to see it finished shortly thereafter. So it only lends weight to the reasons to do that. You follow me? Yeah. So maybe, buddy, maybe. Right now, I'm going to take that very short break. I won't be long, guys. I really won't. I really, really won't. No, back in a minute. Alrighty. Now, next. But yeah, getting back to your question there, min pins, in theory, might be achievable. Oh, light answer that bit's back properly. Yeah, they wouldn't be all done on the same day. Or it would require. Actually, if I got everything done to a certain point on all the kits, so as that there was like maybe one or two things on each kit required to be done on one day, which would require me potentially to actually go that far as to actually to specifically finish them on one day. Because all it would require, for example, might be if I get them all done to the point where all I've got to do is put on the aerial wire. Well, not unachievable now, is it? I could just take turns doing them. Maybe a few other bits. Maybe actually that would be the way I'd do it. I'd do two streams. The first one would be doing the last bits on the kits whilst having a look at upcoming builds. The last one would be the presentation of the kits. Second stream would be looking this kit. Yes. That would be kind of cool. Might actually work on that idea, Mr. Minpins. Depending on how time. I'll see how things pan out on the time schedule. It's going to be the bigger factor. But I reckon it could be good. It all really cuts down to timing. And that's all it is. So, well, see if that can be achieved. The question, I guess, then might come, do I need to give myself a time? I think what it could even be is because a lot of it would be off-camera work anyway. As long as I go on the angle of getting yeah, all of one color done every time across all the kits, I think I'd probably be surprised as to how quickly that would come together. That would make that achievable. I've almost got everything I need done on the spit. That's not too hard. The just getting a little tired. I think maybe I need to give it a holiday. But it's getting quite a lot of work so far. Showing side effects quite the but yeah, in fact I am definitely gonna do that. But with the spit almost at that point and potentially what it would be. You know, man, this can happen. Happen pretty easily, in fact. The other thing is there's also a lot of overlap in the paintwork with even the resupply kit. I asked at the hobby shop because when I looked at the paint directions on the assembly instructions on for the um, resupply kit, they were in a camo green and brown. I thought, well, that doesn't look. I thought an RAF vehicle would be blue. No, that is correct apparently. And bottom line, therefore, is that, well, first as an aside, apparently whatever was the standard camouflage on an RAF aircraft is pretty much what you'd see on the ground support. So yes, the green and brown is applicable. Apparently the only reason they would have had blue was if it was associated with the Navy, which this one, or these ones would not be. So not, again, not applicable. And further to which, those colours do, however, overlap rather conveniently with the colour scheme of the aircraft we're doing, i.e. certainly the Halifax and the Hampton. Not sure which green I'm using on the Spit. That might be the same green. I might be able to do all the greens together. Yeah. So there you go. These are things that make it very achievable in that regard, if you follow me. The idea of being all done on the one day and I don't know. As to what the day of completion would be. Closer to the date. The big stream. If I were to, for example, So I know I've got everything such that it's just pretty much main assembly and those little touch-ups that go with that. All the detailing's done, all the bits and bobs are ready to go. Well, then it gets down to what going to work out how many more things needed to be done. What day I do? Probably be well advised to give myself a bit of time leeway. Did I do that? Like that idea. I can sort of almost repeat process as it were. Well, I wouldn't do another 24-hour stream, I don't think, too soon, largely on account of the fact that I'm expecting to be righteously hammered by doing this release of day anyway. That's fine. Already had a few people question my sanity. The idea. As far as I can. One way to a lot of fun, get a lot of viewers. There's all wins. Log in the soundtrack. Highway to the model zone. That was Alright, once I've done this side, I will show you where we're at on that. I think what I'm gonna definitely do, I will use the next stream. Ordinarily I'd go back to the Halifax bit. I think I'm gonna continue with the lot really that I'd like to get done properly. Yeah, look, here's how I'm figuring it, right? This is my theory. Now, first, I've done a lot. I've stayed up for over 24 hours a lot of time. I sort of know the tricks of the trade. There are some. Now, as a quick little side. There we go. There's a little spot there I've missed. But yeah. There's a few little bits of detail there we can work with. Anyway, the point being that, and I know I can, stay up from 3 in the morning till 10 at night without too much effort. Not a biggie. I do get tired, yeah. Now, what I'm figuring, I'll just do the other side now. really rob. Nice. What I'm figuring, just drop a brush, is that if I'm gonna need to get a big, big sleep. Um, before I start things, that's a bit of a no-brainer. Um, I'll need to make sure I have um, all the food, coffee, milk, that sort of stuff that I'm going to require. Ready to rock and roll. I'm not going to want to go anywhere. All the modelling supplies I'll need to have on hand. Everything. Going somewhere is not on my agenda. Because, and also a lot of because I'll do a announcement of each upcoming stream on my different social media platforms. Well, why wouldn't I? Then I will between streams I will probably have from a pretty early stage of proceedings too. I'll probably go for a few power naps, do some meditation, stuff like that to try and keep the mind going. Then by the time I get to 6:30, I'd expect 7 a.m. taking part in the reshoot of a Bruce Willis movie, Sleep Hard. And indeed, I think in the same stretch, I could probably even be considered as doing the sequel, Sleep Harder. But yeah, and probably only need to go for a short-ish sleep. Drag myself out of bed after about hours. Stay awake for a few more. It would only be 4 or 5. Then part of the reason for that would be to get food. Then what I would do, I would crash. And the aim of being up at 3:30 the next day for my rescheduled fishing trip. Not missing out on a fishing night. Mate who I go fishing with thinks I'm nuts. Probably right. There's always more sensible to me. Almost there. Aha. I'm not having oats for breakfast today, but here we go. Musical question for you. It'll give you a clue as to what I'm having for breakfast. There's a Supertramp lyric, if you can remember their Supertramp fan you ever were. But see if you can glean from that reference what I'm having for breakfast. No, there's no Supertramp lyric featuring Vegemite. Do mention a breakfast food. Their songs. They might do more than one of their songs, but one particular one that's quite famous. Blue, apparently in Texas. As in, do we have kippers for breakfast? Mummy dear, you gotta have 'em in Texas, 'cause everyone's a millionaire. Blum, boom, boom, boom. I'm a winner, I'm a singer, do you want my autograph? I'm a loser, what a joker. The joke's upon you, 'cause there's nothing better to do. Hey, la 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 la. Never heard it. Okay. It's from the song Breakfast in America. And whilst that's the title track of the album. And the entire album, I believe, is pretty much about their experiences whilst touring America for the first time. Yeah, that's one of the big lines out of Breakfast in America. Breakfast in America. Is yeah, do we have kippers for breakfast? Oh dear, but I'm in Texas. Right. side, I think. Now, Crime of the Century was another one of their great albums. They had some really good ones. But as a song, I'm trying to remember which one. Logical Song. That's one of my favourite songs of all time. Whilst I'm largely into metal and classical, some of the prog rock stuff is pretty cool. Certainly a big fan of Floyd. That's the bottom line, buddy, yeah. Correctamundo. Okay. Give me a moment. No, I'll be doing my second stream. My bot will deal admirably with all of that, buddy. A lot of sauerkraut and yogurt. I do these things. All right, there's one a little bit left. Then I should put some cheese. Then I'll wind the stream up. This is any chassis black. Oh, actually, there is a little bit. Quickly. Okay. Boom. So there's a base coat on that. Give some other colours to bring all those little details up and make them look kind of pretty. There you go. No, I wouldn't even bother. Straight out. Wouldn't even bother. Alright. Let's clean my brush. That should always be done before we do anything. Just so as I don't forget. Alrighty. Clean brush. I might just clean. It won't take long. Okay, good. This chappy again. Oh. Yeah, I'll deal. Do this last one. There we go. Clean brush. Oh, here it's only 6:40, mate. You'd be looking at 6:36. You'd be looking at time in Sydney. I'm in Adelaide, which is half an hour earlier. 6:41 here, yeah. Um, Now, the, well, okay. First, I'm not quite sure where you're getting your bearing on. For the Australian time, Australia has predominantly two, as far as it goes, by and large, because of the way the land is laid out, stuff like that. There are two main time zones. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I'm not sure how many hours behind you that is. Wait, yes, I can tell you. I can tell you from Greenwich Mean Time. I know it's 9 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time because we're 9.5 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. No, that would make it 10 hours for them. Sorry, they're 10 hours ahead. We're 9.5 hours ahead. In Western Australia, we're 9.5. That'd be something like 7 hours ahead. There's actually a big difference once you get to Perth. So yeah. Now you're in San Francisco. That's PDT. Yeah. Oh, that's telling me people in charge. Which is inconvenient. Well, doesn't matter if I put the stream up. LA. I thought you were in San Francisco for some. Yeah, that'd keep you busy in your line of work, I tell you. Yeah. So, um, you're 8 hours behind Greenwich. So logically, that would make 17. Logically. Um, yeah, that should make sense. See, if it's 2:09 p.m. where you are, and it's now 6:45 here, thereabouts. That's 10 hours will take us to 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's almost 17 hours, yeah. 16 and a half, 17, thereabouts. Although I guess in the instance of getting back to you being in LA as opposed to San Francisco, I guess from a time variable it would make no odds in as much as they're both PDT. Anyway, after all that discussion, I'm going to switch the light out. Lights out. And alrighty. I haven't zoomed that out enough, have I? Oh, no, it'll do it. That's okay. Alright, thanks for watching, man. I'll be back at the usual kit time. And this time we'll be getting onto some Park Black for the interior. Then we'll go for a bit of canopy action. Then no, it won't be 2.5 hours. It'll be closer to 2.25, 2 hours and 10, something like that. But no, really. It's like if I'm going to be doing 4 hours on, 2 hours off, I'm sure I'll manage with a 2 hour break, man. Anyway, and we'll once we've got our various bits and bobs in order for the Cart Black, we'll move on to canopies on the Lank. As we'll do canopies on Spitfire, canopies on Hampton, not Hampton, Halifax. Both made by Handy Page. That's anyway, and we can do a few other things maybe depending how we go for time. But on that note, good people, again, thank you for watching. You will indeed see me then, buddy. Yep, time for my usual spiel. This is your first time watching. There's a magic button for you. Follow, like, or subscribe. And if you're thanks for letting you. You're welcome to lurk, young Stefan. I'm very grateful for your watching, mate. Good night. Yeah, anyway. For those wishing to track me down on other platforms, I'm Rob the Builder on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord, and Robster the Builder on Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe. And I will be back a bit over 2 hours for all the fun and excitement that modelling brings. Catch you then, kids.